Welcome to Let the Quran Speak. I'm Aisha, your host. On June 3, 2016, the world mourned the loss of Muhammad Ali, the world-famous boxer and activist. His funeral was live-streamed and watched by millions, followed by a memorial interfaith service that brought together leaders from all faith groups, including Imam Hamza Abdul Malek, Protestant minister Kevin Cosby, and Rabbi Michael Lerner, just to name a few. What was it about the celebrated sports figure that has inspired and empowered young and old around the globe? What can we learn from his life? Let's sit down with Dr. Shabir Ally and get his thoughts. Welcome to the show, Dr. Shabir.
Pleasure to be on.
So what do you think Muhammad Ali represented for the average Muslim and the average person?
An article on MuslimMatters.com does it, summarizes this in the best way possible. It's written by a certain Muhammad Akhtar. He says that there are 5 things that we can learn from Muhammad Ali. One is about his vision. Before he became as great as he was, he already had the idea that this is what he will become. Some of his classmates recall from his school days that he was saying that he will become a world heavyweight champion. So that's his vision. In Muhammad Ali's own words, it is reported that he said that I said I was the greatest before I knew I was. So some goal to work towards. Second is the hard work. Having a vision by itself does not produce the results. You have to do some hard work to get there. Muhammad Ali trained with extra clothing and with weights tied to his legs to give him that sort of agility that he would need in the ring when he would not be encumbered by these extra weights. So he walked before he danced. In his own words, he said he was walking or running before he actually danced in the ring. The third thing is his inspiration of others. Like his inspiring words are unique in that, in the field of sports, we have great athletes, but we derive some inspiration from seeing them in motion, but we can hardly hear from them such inspiring words as are noted from Muhammad Ali. He was quite eloquent, which according to Akhtar is a gift from God to Muhammad Ali, and he used it to its maximum. The fourth thing pointed out in that article is that Muhammad Ali was able to admit his mistakes. Great as he was able to say, okay, I messed up that time, I was wrong.
And you don't normally see media personalities doing that.
Yes, and this was especially the case when Muhammad Ali expressed his regret for the fact that he sort of ostracized Malcolm X. When Malcolm X became a Sunni Muslim, he left the group that Muhammad Ali belonged to, the group headed by Elijah Muhammad, which was a protest against white supremacy, but this went into a sort of racism of its own, going to extremes in its promotion of the rights of the black people and of their value. So he says, I regretted that, and he wished that he had the chance to say to Malcolm X, I was sorry for that. And the final thing is the self-respect that Muhammad Ali was known for. He was black, but unapologetically so. He was Muslim, he was proudly so. He adopted the name Muhammad Ali from his previous name, Cassius Clay. He said that was his slave name. Now he has a Muslim name, and he wants to be called by this name. And at the time, we have to think of a few decades ago, people did not want to call him by this Muslim name. They kind of despised this name. And according to this article, he was in the ring with one such opponent who refused to call him by his new name. And he kept hitting that opponent and asking him each time, what is my name? What is my name? And eventually the opponent caved in and pronounced his name.
Very important and powerful lessons. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, Muhammad Ali's funeral was live streamed, watched by millions around the world. There was also a multi-faith service. What do you think brought people together from all walks of life? It wasn't just Muslims. This was a gathering where we saw, a rabbi speak. We saw a Protestant, leaders speak. We saw imams. So what are your
I think
thoughts
it goes
on
back to his first his inspiration of others, his inspiring words, which are known to all and sundry, his self-confidence and respect. When he refused to join the U.S. Army to go and fight in Vietnam, he said some eloquent things as well. He said, why should I travel thousands of miles to go and drop bombs on some brown people somewhere else or some people of color elsewhere, while at the same time people of color in the United States are being mistreated. So he opposed this war, and at first this landed him into trouble, because when he appeared, as he was called to be drafted into the army, his name was called, he refused to go up, name called again, refuses to go up. Eventually he was warned that if he refuses like this, he could be facing like $10,000 in fine, 5 years in prison. And his name was called again, but he still refused to go up.
And wasn't his title also on the line for being stripped away? Yes,
because now his boxing license was suspended, and for a few years, he could not get a boxing license until eventually that verdict was overturned. So his determination and his sticking by what he believed to be right, this was a source of inspiration to others. And of course, the anti-war movement picked up at that time, and he came to be recognized as a model of conscientious objection to the war.
What do we know about his journey his journey to Islam?
Well, he, in his late teens, early 20s, became introduced to the movement begun by Elijah Muhammad, who, in contradistinction to what Muslims generally say, pronounced himself to be a prophet of God. Muslims say that Muhammad, who lived some 1400 years ago, is the final messenger of God, but here Elijah Muhammad in America proclaimed himself to be a messenger of God. That is a movement that in fact inspired many people in America, including, as we mentioned previously, Malcolm X, who later changed his name to Malik Shabazz, and now also Muhammad Ali. So they joined his movement. It gave them pride as people of color who did not previously have a rallying call in America that would give them that source of pride and self-worth and esteem and dignity. And eventually, of course, he, after the death of Elijah Muhammad in 1975, when the son of Elijah Muhammad, Warith Din Muhammad, became the head of the mission, he then gravitated towards Sunni Islam, which of course must have been his inclination for some years prior to that. And with him, many of the followers actually became Sunni Muslims. But of course, some, like Louis Farrakhan, broke away and maintained some of the previous emphases that they knew from Elijah Muhammad. And so that what is now known as the Nation of Islam is different from Sunni Islam, but Muhammad Ali joined Sunni Islam.
As we wrap up, what's one message that you would take? You've shared a lot of messages, but there's one that you could pick for Muslims and the broader Canadian community.
Well, I'll mention something that Muhammad Ali said. He said that, I used to say that I'm the greatest, but my Parkinson's disease, this must be God's way of reminding me that, after all, He is the greatest. And when I first knew of Muhammad Ali, I was just a boy, and I didn't like the fact that he said he was the greatest. And to see him come around like this, I think this is a turnaround point, and that reminds us that we shouldn't judge people. We should give people time and respect them for who they are and see the worth that they have, and not demand of everyone to fit within our own molds of thinking.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
Hey YouTube, we hope you benefited from this video. If you liked it, or if you didn't, let us know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more, check out some of our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.